I'm Haley Taylor, and you're listening to the Rough Draft Diaries. This week on the Rough Draft Diaries, we're doing something we've never done before. So what kind of plane is this?
This is a Cessna 172.
We'll get back to that in just a moment. But first, let me tell you where we are. We're at the Blue Horizons Flying Club. And I visited this nonprofit flying club on the coldest day of the year. It was freezing. It's so cold. Luckily, I wasn't outside for too long. I was at the Toledo Executive Airport, where the Blue Horizon Flying Club has their own hangar. 3 of their planes are housed there, and also an office space, which is where I met some of the members of this flying club.
My name is Dave Holtz. I am the club treasurer and general manager.
I'm Elaine Hogan, and I've been flying for almost 7 years.
My name is Mike Makrowski. I'm one of the newer members of the club and just became a private pilot over the last couple of months.
Each person I met had their own reason for joining the club. Some of them were pilots before, simply looking for like-minded individuals to talk about flying and planes. Others, however, came to the club to learn how to fly. The club has 3 different instructors where you can go, take lessons, and achieve your pilot's license, which is easier said than done.
I think the challenging part really is there is a lot to know. There's the fundamentals of flying and learning how to maneuver the aircraft, but there is a significant amount of regulations and safety-related measures that you've got to learn, and so that's a lot of what you do in the ground school is learn all of that, and then you take a test on it. Yeah.
One thing they do tell you is once you get that license, it's a license to learn.
And Eileen is the perfect example of a license to learn. She does have her pilot's license, but she doesn't have an instrument rating, which means she can only fly in certain weather conditions.
The challenging part is I'm working on my instrument now, and that's one of the hardest.
So describe
readings.
that.
Well, you're flying blind, basically. I used to describe it as playing, pin the tail on the donkey. This was like pin the airplane on the runway.
Right.
So
yeah, instrument rating. When you have that, you'll fly through the clouds and just based on the instruments in your airplane versus just outside the window and whatnot.
You're basically training yourself to rely on the board for assistance instead of gaining perspective from the window. This helps, like Mike said, when you're flying through the clouds or bad weather where visibility is low. And until you get your instrument rating, you can only fly during clear conditions. But these kind of challenges are what makes learning something new so much fun. At least that's what Mike thinks.
I knew it would be very challenging and a complex hobby to get into. And so, like I said, I wanted to kind of develop a new skill and something that wasn't going to be a piece of cake. And then, quite honestly, the bit of the thrill. You're up in the sky and you're in control of kind of your destiny there for to a certain point. And I also, I have a young child. She's 8, a daughter. She's 8, and I like the idea of being able to kind of show her that it doesn't matter how old you are, you can keep learning and challenging yourself to do different things. So that's a cool side effect of this as well, I think.
And speaking of cool side effects, turns out if you do an episode on a flying club, they will actually take you flying.
Yeah, if you want to hop into this seat over here.
Pick her up, Virgil!
That's Dave. He's the one who's going to take me for a ride in the Cessna 172 with all my recording equipment.
You're the only person who gets into an airplane with more wires than me.
Yeah, we're laughing now, but that quickly stopped when I realized that I had trouble getting my seatbelt on and then also couldn't figure out how to shut the door.
Okay.
I can't shut the door.
There we go.
There you go. That's kind of important. Yeah. Shutting the door. And then our journey began. Except not really, because Dave forgot something.
Oh, crap. I need keys. Hey, Fred?
Yep.
Anybody have keys?
You what?
Keys.
The keys?
Yeah. Is that important?
Yeah, probably. You got any?
I left them in my car. It was unlocked when I got to it.
Luckily for us, people at the club really look out for each other, and they ran and got the keys, and then we were on our way.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get things turned on here. Clear!
As I mentioned earlier, it was cold, but it was a clear night, which made for the best flying. You could look out the window and see all of Perrysburg, Maumee, Toledo illuminated by the moonlight, and also the streetlights. There's something about flying that is kind of spectacular. Looking down on the small towns and the little tiny moving cars, it kind of gives you perspective on things. In that moment, you feel very, very small. And yet you also feel very big because you're flying above everybody else. It's kind of a wonderful contrast to sit in, feeling very small and yet very big. I'm not sure if Dave experiences the same emotions as he's flying. It's kind of hard to tell as he was busy landing the plane back on the tarmac. But as this flight is coming to an end, I guess I probably should wrap up the episode as well. I'm Haley Taylor. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Rough Draft Diaries.
Great. That was so fun.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, seriously. One of the best Rough Draft Diaries. I don't think we've ever done anything like this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how well it's gonna go.